what had changed from the first trip to the second trip? Do you think like you were just aware that the differences were there and then you kind of accepted it?
Maybe because the first trip I think I was jarred by the fact like I call it re-entry shock.
Mm-hmm.
Some people call it like what reverse culture shock, but I just call it re-entry shock because it's not really a reverse culture. But you go back in and you're just like panicked. You're like, you know, I don't fit in, and nobody. That people say,
That's super interesting.
yeah, because they ask you, say, how was your trip? How is Japan? I live in China. Oh, do they have houses over there? They must live in the slums.
God
like,
damn it.
yeah, and I'm like, okay, how did you get from I live in a major metropolis to I live in a shanty?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and even if I did, like, why, you know, it just, I don't know, it's something about kind of being hyper aware of the lack of geographical knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and the lack of desire to learn about other cultures that the U.S. is famous for really made me upset. It's like not my family's not like that. Like my immediate family's not like that, you know. And I love them, right? Like I love being around them. I love being able to kind of spend time with them. And I think this last trip, obviously, I'm older. You know, I left the country. I was like 21, 22. I came back and I'm like 29.
Yeah.
And I'm engaged to be married, and I'm like grown. I'm just like, you know, I'm older,
Yeah.
you know, and perhaps it's like this is what it feels like in general to age, no matter what your story is. Like maybe if I had stayed at home, it'd be the exact same thing, just different, but like the same kind of like dissatisfaction and anger
Mm-hmm.
turn into like no, and y'all actually kind of realize it's not that serious.
Yeah.
Like,
That's like, I tell you what, that point really grabbed me when you talk about the re-entry shock kind of syndrome, because like when I was living in Finland, I lived in Finland for 2 years, and then actually a year and a half, and then as part of my master's degree, and then for the last quarter, I went to France, to live in the south, into the south of France as part of the program, and when I came back to England, I remember I had got very used to French culture, like so when you introduce yourself, you like kiss people and stuff like that. And at first, I really didn't like it. I really fucking hated it because I always remember when this girl came to kiss me, and I was like, "What the fuck is she doing?" You know, like, but it was strange. Like maybe it's my previous kind of anxiety issues, like all of a sudden arose out of nowhere, you know, and I was like kind of in an uncomfortable position. But then that uncomfortable position evolved into something comfortable. And essentially what happened is I got used to this culture, and then when I went back to England and I went into pub culture again, like we're going out with the lads and stuff, having some beers and shit, when you walk into a pub, it's very strange actually. Like I was speaking to someone about this in one of my French friends, I think, and what happens is you walk into a pub, everyone looks at you, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, it's very subconscious. Like I imagine that most people don't even realise it who are English, who've never really lived up in other places, you know. But when you come back, you realise that you walk in and everyone's kind of like looking at you. They're not like, maybe it's like more animalistic kind of behaviour. It's just like you're just checking the person out.
right.
And then you kind of turn around and then you look away, you know. And it's like I remember I went through this spell of anxiety where like I would be questioning why people are looking at me, and then I'd feel very, very uncomfortable, and I would start like sweating or whatever, feel really horrible about certain things, right? So I can understand when you talk about this re-entry shock. It's very strange that happens because it's almost like you forget these certain things, or you see something that you never saw before because you have become so acclimatized to another environment that when you come back, you see the little things you didn't see. It's almost like you are the foreigner. You know, you're the foreigner in your original environment. Yeah. So that for me was a very, very strange but also interesting experience, because also the flip side of that is that you come back to your city and you see things that you never saw before, like the beauty of the landscape, or you know, certain things about, like I would say, for example, when I was younger, for some reason I've always appreciated my parents and stuff, but I think I never really showed them my appreciation. I was almost like embarrassed to show them that I cared, because it's almost like a sign of weakness if I say to my mum, "Hey mum, I love you." Even today, it's something that I find a little bit difficult. I don't know what it is. It's maybe some kind of English cultural thing where like expressing your emotions is something that I've always found pretty difficult, unless I really care, you know. And I think, as I have gone to other places and probably the same for you, like you see these little flaws in yourself that you can patch up through different cultural experiences.
Yeah.
You know?